Cutthroat's the game today, so let's put one ball from each player in a corner of the rack. Player 1, 2, and 3 is listed on the side. If a player scratches the cue ball, the other two players are able to pull the ball out. You can call pocket or play slop. You decide. Player 1, they get a break. Second out becomes player 2, they don't do anything, and the third player, they will be the one who is out first. So how to win? The last player shooting, or at least one ball from your number set, is still on the table with no other player balls available to shoot. Here goes player 1 shooting. Now you are able to put your own balls in, but remember, if you have no balls on the table, then you risk that chance of being out. That means you need to run the table out and not miss anymore. Player 1 is shooting. They can shoot the balls 6 through 15, and on the right you will see the X's marking out the balls. So for the most part, this is all call pocket. If you get an extra ball to fall in, that's great. Just means one of the other player's balls is falling up. And as you can tell, player 1 is going to be shooting his own 2-ball right there just to get to a better shot. As long as you still have balls on the table, you are allowed to shoot your own balls. And some of these games are going to take a minute. Looks like playing shape for the 6 in the side. I think player 1 wanted to come up a little bit higher so he could come down onto the 8 and the 7. But I think that the plan's going to change. Got that 13 ball right there. Looks like player 3 is almost out. And the only way player 3 will be able to come back in is if player 1 or player 2 scratches. We will explain what happens if there is a scratch coming up. Looks like player 1 is doing very well. Player 3 was just knocked out. Looks like player 1's going to try to play some shape and get down onto that 8 and the 7. Not quite, but there's a combo. Could be trying just to play break shot just to get a better leave for later. And now player 2 is going to be coming to the table. And see many choices. And now player 2 understands this table can be challenging and these pockets are very unforgiving. You will notice sometimes that these pockets will spit balls back out. The ball will be rolling. It looks perfect to fall in the pocket and it will just not fall. Those are very disappointing times. So I think player 2 will be playing shape to get that one ball off the rail a little bit. Make sure there's a little bit better angle to slide into those pockets. Now this is just the table. Not how most tables play out there in the standard pool hall. Player 2 looks like cut a little too much right there. So, since player 3 is out, they do not get to come to the table and it is back to player 1 who will be shooting. Looks like a nice little shot. Getting shape on top of that 8 ball to be able to put it into the same pocket. Nice and easy. Okay, so since player 3 was out first, they will rack. And player 1, they get a break again. Player 1 will keep 1 through 5. Player 2 will keep 6 through 10. And player 3 will keep the last order of 11 through 15. And it looks like player 1 broke dry. So here comes player 2 to shoot. It's a little hopeful to player 3, I'm thinking, unless player 2 runs out. Now this is a multiplayer game, standard for 3 players. Sometimes we have an extra that wants to come along. This is a simple game that we can play with 3 people. Definitely looks like player 2 is picking on player 1, trying to knock his balls out first. Player 2 just put in the 12 ball, so player 3 has one down now. Just check that ball in the side. Doesn't look good. I think it's stuck and froze. So I think there's going to be a little bit of low right outside right here to try to whip it around. But that ball got in the way, so still have a problem ball. And that 7 and 9 look a little tricky, but the game definitely changes throughout. Okay, player 2 missed. Player 3 finally gets to come to the table. I bet they are feeling ecstatic. So, nice little shot. Tried to break out that 5 and the 8 so they could get a little revenge and get him out, but tucked behind the 8. Looks like they're going to start working on player 2 now. Now there is a little bit of strategy. I mean, we all want to win, but this is all about having fun as well. Let's try not to make it too serious. Okay, looks like player 1 gets to come back to the table. Let's see how well he comes back, see if he's on fire still. Made that one look easy. And I think he had a plan to get that ball off. Yep, it's coming with a fury, it looks like. Let's see, is he going to try to break out that? Barely missed, which tends to happen often. Looks like player 3 is not very happy with player 1 again. Player 1, I think, felt a little offended and is coming back. I think if he hit that a little slower, that 7 ball would have went up top. But it still looks like there is a cut on that 7. Just need to cut it thin. Not thin enough. Now, this is where the nerves need to be settled. Player 2 knows that he is capable of getting the break if he just pots this 5 ball. And it went in and completely bounced out. So player 1's feeling pretty proud, and yet it was almost a repeat in the total opposite pocket. So player 2 took that shot definitely for granted, and I am certain player 1 is not gonna let that one slide. Almost scratched. So if a scratch would have happened, player 3 and player 2 would have had a ball each, respotted. So player 1 gets to break again. Looks like he made a couple balls this time. See where the route is. I don't know if he's got something against player 3, but definitely working hard on those balls. Let's see how well this shot goes. Yep, would have been in on any other table in the world, but that's okay. It's a great practice table. That's exactly why I had it customized like this. So, let's see what player 2 can do now. Coming with a little bit of fury. I think he's working on player 1. And typically, this is supposed to be the fun game like I was saying. All you really need to do is just put balls down, get some good practice in, enjoy your time with your friends. A little overroll on that, but I think he's got perfect shape to roll up and get around on the top side of that 5 ball and get rid of player 1 here in a minute maybe. Yep. Looking pretty good. Player 1, I think, is sweating it. Let's see. Took that shot for granted. So, player 3 is shooting and happy. There is some hope in the game. Came up, looking at the 6 ball. Is it worth the risk on that line? I think you'd rather use more of a pocket that you can see the whole thing. Bump that. Didn't quite come underneath like he was hoping. There we go. Player 3 is feeling good. Right there. Player 1 will have to rack unless somebody scratches. Not too shabby. Ugh, just barely missed. So, player 2 is back to the table. Oh, I think some nerves got to him, or he was trying a kick shot. I'm not too certain. Maybe it was a friend having a good time. But player 3 just choked. That is what happens when there is pressure. Player 1 racks now, and player 2 will break. Basic rules. Decide who is first, second, and third. Third player will rack, placing one ball from each player in a corner of the rack. Slop all balls or call pocket. It's your choice. If anyone scratches the cue ball, bring one ball back from each other player and spot as close to the racking or foot spot. First person out, or if all balls are off the table, then that player becomes player 3 unless the scratch brings them back into the game. And remember, you gotta have fun. Thank you.